everyone, and welcome to another episode of Our Point of View Talk Show. We are so glad that you're able to join us this evening. This evening, we're going to be talking about Legalshield. What is it? Who should have it? How important is it to have it? And we have someone here who's going to talk to us about it. But before we talk about Legalshield, we're going to say hello to our host, Captain Jackson, all the way from Los Angeles. Hey, Cap.
What's happening? What can I help you with? Let me take off. Got to do something about that sun. It's something else. But it's great to be here on the show.
How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. I have an audience of one. My lovely mother is sitting over to my right, and so we're just going to check out the show, listen to what's said, and we look to engage. And welcome to our guest.
Great. And our special guest is the one and only Miss Sheila Byrd. Hello, Miss Sheila. How are you?
Hello, Miss Jacqueline, and hello, Captain Jackson. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be on. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my background, I'm actually a registered nurse, case manager. I actually that career for 28 years, and I was able to retire early, and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur with the services Legalshield and Ideashield. Very proud to be. Have not worked a job since. I found that I really loved nursing, loved what I did, but it was not enough for me to retire. And my job security that I thought I would have, that was definitely found to not to be true. I was actually witnessed 5 of my coworkers let go at one time. And so it kind of scared me, right? And so I knew I wanted to do something different. So it kind of pushed me to really look at what I already had in front of me. And then that's this opportunity here. And so I've been doing that ever since.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's start by telling us, what is Legalshield?
Well, Legalshield, I've actually been with this company for 18 years now. Okay, and I got started in 2003 along with my husband. And once we saw Legalshield, and actually it was because we used the membership, that's what really got us started. Because there's 2 phenomenal services that are provided through Legalshield. And actually the name of the company has been updated just recently, and we are called PPLSI. And our services, which we always have been as PPLSI, but we were marketing or sharing services such as Legalshield and Ideashield. These are 2 services that we feel that is needed by every family, every individual, every business owner, more now than ever, because of the things that can happen just in day-to-day life with your family, like I said, with your business. And we give you this opportunity to be able to access the legal system and identity theft protection for less than $1 a day. And so some find it, that's incredible to be able to do that. But we've actually been around for over 50 years. Legalshield was established in 1972, and we have serviced approximately 4.4 million lives in the United States and Canada, all the way through North America. We're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary this year. We'll be going to Old Cakes, Oklahoma, where this business was founded by Harlan C. Stonecipher. And so, we feel like this membership, it protects you. It's a family plan. So it's going to protect you, your spouse or significant other, and even your children up to the age of 26, and college students too. So it gives you access to the legal system where you might hesitate and not pick up the phone. Now you'll be able to call and actually access an entire law firm, and not just in your state, all across the country. You'll be able to access of the legal system in any state that you're in. And so that's a phenomenal peace of mind that we provide, just giving you that affordable legal access.
So how many products do you actually offer?
Well, we actually offer 7 products. What we start with, and that's our Legalshield and our ID Shield product. And that the ID Shield is our identity theft protection plan. But we also offer that same protection, legal protection and identity theft protection for small business owners. And even if you are a home-based business, we offer that for your home-based business. And also, if you are, say, for instance, a truck driver, we have a CDLP plan that services you there. And then we have supplements after that where you can add in additional to the legal plan. And that's our small business supplement that will go right along with the small business plan that will give you additional benefits. We even have trial defense benefits that you can also access. And then we have a gun supplement where if you're a gun carrier, you definitely want to protect your rights there. And we have a service that can help you also with that.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow, those are a lot of different services. What do you think? What makes it? Why are people drawn to Legalshield? What makes it so attractive for people to not only be drawn to it, but then for you all to have grown in all those different areas?
And I really believe what it attracts most is the affordability of it, because a lot of times we hesitate making that call or even knowing who to call when we have a legal situation. And we may not pick up a phone and call an attorney for a minor legal situation. We may say, for instance, we wanted to get a contract review. We may not pick up the phone for that and call an attorney because accessing an attorney may cost more than your membership or more than you can afford. So therefore you hesitate. So what we bring is affordable access, easier, simpler. We even provide an app on your phone. So now wherever you go with your phone, you have access to your legal firm. And so we feel very proud about that because it makes it easy to access. No more thinking about who am I going to call? You know how we pick up the phone, we're like, do you know an attorney? Or we're going through, just trying to search out online, trying to figure out who are we going to call. We give you that peace of mind because you have access to an entire law firm, not just an attorney, but attorneys that specialize in every area of the law, and you can access them even in case of an emergency. So we provide you that peace of mind, being able to handle any type of event, no matter how trivial or traumatic it may be, you can access and get a peace of mind because you can call and speak to an attorney that's going to help you in that situation.
Now, with a lot of people getting pulled over, how is Legalshield going to help you on the spot?
Absolutely. We have 24-hour emergency service. And so, say for instance, you're driving, you get pulled over, you may not know why you're being pulled over, but you can actually pick up your phone. We don't go anywhere without our phone. So 9 times out of 10, you got your phone with you. You'll be able to tap your app. There is a 24-hour emergency button there that you can tap and that you can access an attorney within 5 minutes to represent you right there in the case of you being questioned, or especially if you're being detained by law enforcement. It's your right to have access to legal counsel. And with our app, it gives you that to be able to have an attorney speak on your behalf. I'll give you an example of someone that I know is a member working nights, was driving and kind of had a, kind of spin at slight accident, but hit embankment. And, he picked up the phone, tapped his app, he got the attorney on, but the attorney advised him not to say anything because what he says, if he says it the wrong way, it could lead to criminal charges. So he had to be quiet and let the attorney speak on his behalf. And he said after that was done, he was such a peace of mind for him because he might have said something like, oh, I think I fell asleep at the wheel. And then it might lead to some more indications. So that is one of the reasons why it just empowers you to have that legal counsel, which you have every right to in case of an emergency like that.
So now if you tap on the phone, will you be able to speak with the attorney right then and there, and the attorney will actually be able to speak with the officer?
Yes, you will be able to speak exactly. So once you pick up your phone, you tap the app, you will get someone who's going to ask the nation. They want to make sure it's an emergency. And then they put the attorney right on. So within 5 minutes, you have the attorney on the phone. Okay. Now, in the instances, and in several, the attorneys will speak on your behalf. They ask to speak to the officer, so you can hand the phone and, you know, be polite about it and just say, officer, I have my attorney on the phone. I'd like to speak with you. Okay. And then once they represent you, generally that case turns out a lot different. It's you're able to leave and have a peace of mind, you know, instead of fear about being pulled over.
Now, do the police officers know about Legalshield?
Yes, a lot of them do, because many of them have our service also. So they do know, because we're in many, yes, many counties where we service the entire area in the law enforcement.
Okay,
Well,
so whenever you hand over your phone to the police officer and say, my attorney wants to talk to you, they're not going to be like, well, I'm not talking to no attorney. You know, you deal with that in court. They will actually talk to them.
Well, most of the time we have not have a problem with them not talking to them. Of course, they will question that. Okay. But when you just, you know, and you can put the attorney on speaker. All right. And the attorney will at that point ask to speak, and they are good at quoting codes, which I cannot repeat, that will actually, the officer will understand. And at that point, you know, be able to have that conversation.
You know, I have to ask Jackie this. I know we're talking with you, right? But I have to ask Jackie, as a former law enforcement official, were there times where you came across where someone's in the car and they're like, hey, I got my attorney on the phone, be it Legalshield or somebody else? How would you, did you ever come across that?
I never spoke to an attorney on the phone when I was in the field. Now, that's why I was asking, do the police officers actually know about it? Because no, I don't recall ever, you know, somebody handed me a phone and said, well, I got my attorney on the phone. I would never speak to him. I don't know who you have on that phone. I don't know who's on the other end of the phone. So no, I would never speak to anyone. And you know, I was in law enforcement for 12 years. So things could have changed by then. I don't know, but no.
Right.
Wow.
And I can definitely understand that, you know, where that may be the case. But the point is that you do have legal counsel at that time. If that happened, that attorney's not going to leave your side. They still will be there to hear the conversation, to guide you. Their job is to counsel you in that case. And so they're going to actually tell you what you should or should not do at that time.
But you do have the cards that you can show them, the plastic card. You have the decal that you can put on your car, and you have the keychain, you know, cards that you can put up. So if they see all those, they'll know that, you know, the person you're talking to is probably an attorney.
Yes. Because you can absolutely hand them the card also.
Now, so let me ask you, what's the difference between your service, Legalshield, and, you know, this kind of, I won't say fly by night, but the typical commercials that you see on television talking about folks getting hit by a truck and I need a check, my neck, my back? What's the difference between those folks and you all's services?
Well, our services are here to protect you in the incident, not to, I can say, solicit for you to receive funds because of an accident. You know, those are different type of attorneys. We're here to represent you, to counsel you, to be there on your behalf should an emergency or should something happen in your life. So those are different type of attorneys. They're usually on there saying, if you have an accident, call us, you know, and we'll take care of it. You know, we're going to get you big funds. That is not what our services does. We're a peace of mind service that helps you through legal situations that you can have in your life, even if you don't think it's a legal situation. Sometimes we don't call because we don't even know. And the important part of our service is because you get unlimited consultation and advice. So if you do have a situation, and we're going to, you know, step away from the actual if it's an emergency access, because it's also emergency if you have, say, for instance, you get into an accident and someone's hurt on the scene, you also have access to pick up the phone then and get the attorney to represent you. If the children are being taken out of your home, we're talking about emergency situations, other than just being detained by law enforcement. But then we are also, one of the things that our service provides that really gives people a lot of peace of mind is to be able to access and talk to an attorney when you have a situation that is occurring in your life and you're unsure of what you should do. You need legal advice. And sometimes you don't even know. You just say, okay, I just need to talk so I can work this through. And you will be able to have that unlimitedly, no matter how many times you call, no matter how many times situations that you come upon, it's unlimited without paying any extra. It's included in your monthly membership. And that's what our service provides, a monthly membership plan that you pay a small amount a month, but it gives you big access. And then another thing that we do a document review. So if you have a contract that you need to have reviewed, you want to be able to have an attorney to look those contracts over before you sign, because you can sign a contract that you wish you hadn't signed. Have we ever been in a situation like that? I know I surely have, where I signed a contract and I was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize what I signed here. And so the power of being able to have your attorney review that contract and maybe point out some things that should not be there. I'll give you an example, because we utilize this service for when we purchased a car. And the contract, of course, is pushed in front of you and you're told to sign, sign, sign. Well, we have an attorney that reviewed our contract right there in the dealership. We just faxed it over to him and reviewed the contract, but he actually found that we were being charged $800 that we shouldn't have been, and had that removed from the contract, saved us over $800 plus interest. So that's a way that you can feel empowered, because now you have the ability to pick up the phone and get a contract reviewed without worrying about the high hourly cost. And then we also, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Let's talk about the family law part of it, as far as preparing for final arrangements or doing living wills. How does Legalshield assist you with those items?
Well, that is one of my favorite parts of what we provide, because so many are wanting to get that will done, to get that estate planning done. And we hesitate, right? We may hesitate getting it done because of the fact that, there's a stigma around it. A lot of times we just feel like, who do we call? How much is this will going to cost? I don't really know if I can afford it. Or a lot of times it's like, I don't have anything. Everything's just going to go to my kids. So what do I need to have a will done for? Well, we know that having a will empowers you. It's your voice. So you can alleviate some of the stress that your family has to deal with when you leave here, because you've gotten that will in place. So it's your voice, it's your love letter to your family. And so what we do is we provide you the ability to get it done. First of all, you're gonna want to have an executor, someone to be your voice. So someone who's going to distribute your estate according to your wishes. So our estate planning attorneys, who you have access to, will provide that for you, and will be able to get those questions and that answer that they need to draft your will. We will also provide you with a trust. A trust is, if that is your choice, because a trust is a little more expensive. It's not just included in the membership. There is a 25% discount for a trust, because a trust is much more complicated. It's that protection. It's a box around, like, say, for instance, your home. You're trying to protect your home and you want to put it in the trust so that you can avoid the courts from taking your home. And so this way you keep that safety net over the things that you want your family to have, but you still have control, but it's actually the owner is the trust. So then we also provide you with a living will. a lot of times in my nursing career, I saw this all the time, is where a family member ends up being on life support and they're not going to survive. And so the family has to make a decision whether or not to take them off life support. Well, when you do a living will, you can have your voice heard. Your family will be able to know whether or not you want life support, whether or not you want a feeding tube, whether or not you want dialysis, any of those life-sustaining things that you may or may not want. You can put that in your living will, and therefore your family will know. And it provides, again, your family is so much trauma to go through when you have to make that decision and you're not sure what your loved one wanted. And there's been fighting amongst families because of this. This is the best thing that you can do, that love letter that you can give by just getting that living will done also. And then there's powers of attorney. And they're so important because you want a healthcare power of attorney. You know, when you come into the hospital, the first thing they're going to ask you, do you have someone? You have a medical director. Do you have a healthcare power of attorney? And if you do, that makes it easier for the physicians to make decisions, because if something, you could say, for instance, you're having surgery, you become incapacitated. They have questions, they have, other surgeries or things like that, decisions they have to make regarding your healthcare. They can go then to that person that you've assigned to be your healthcare power of attorney. So it's another important step that we want to take, because now it enables your family to have that power to be able to have a say-so in your care. You know, we have what's called HIPAA. HIPAA right now will stop you from, even if your family, if you're not listed. So it's important for that, put that healthcare power of attorney in place. And then there's a financial power of attorney. We also provide this too. And that's where you can get access to your loved one's finances, their bank accounts, whatever, to pay their bills. Now, the reason I talk about this so passionate is because this happened with me. My father was admitted into the hospital, and once his care was started, he went for a simple surgery, but he didn't do well and had a lot of complications. He wanted definitely for me to have healthcare power of attorney. Well, I was able to access and get healthcare power of attorney right there at his bedside, because I was able to call a law firm and get the attorney to draft that, get it notarized, everything right there at the bedside. And then I was also able to get financial power of attorney the same way. I was able to do that. The attorneys helped me. And when my dad said, please go pay my bills, I was able to go and take care of that. And so, and I did have to end up getting legal guardianship of him. And that again is another process that at that time, it was very, very stressful. And I was so grateful to have an attorney that was guiding me through that process to make sure I got it done. I had to go to court, and I didn't even say anything. My attorney took care of it all. Now, all of this that I've just talked about is included in your membership. And so the membership is less than $1 a day. And you can go right from there, get your will done for you, your spouse or significant other can get it done at no additional cost, except for if it's a trust. Of course, like I said, it's a 25% discount on the hourly rate of the estate planning attorney. But you can get all of these things done and have that peace of mind knowing that you have taken care of your estate planning, when so many hesitate because of that. And especially those who say, well, I don't have anything. I always stress, look around you. Everything that you own is a part of your estate, not just if you have a house, a car, and that land, that type of thing. And your family has to make the decision on how it's divided. And so a lot of times family fight and they argue and they never speak to each other for years, all because your voice wasn't being heard. You didn't have a will in place that designated what you wanted to go where. I have a collection over 100 angels, mean everything to me. I started it with my mother. My mother passed away years ago, and I continue that collection. Well, my daughters know how important that is, and in the will, those angels are divided amongst the two of them. So those are important things, because I have a peace of mind knowing that will be taken care of. So this is why I believe that our services is so needed, because so many, that's one first thing that they want to access is getting their estate planning done. And we provide you that without worrying about a cost or other, who do I call? And just prepare within 7 to 10 days after you go through your will questionnaire, because you have a questionnaire that's going to ask those questions to help draft up the will.
Now, I have a question for you. Now, you were saying that while your father was in the hospital, you got all this information together. Now, did your father have to have a membership for Legalshield as well as you in order to get all those documents signed and all, or did you use
Yes.
your membership for him?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yes, he did have a membership. So it was, easy for me to be able to do that, because that was his power of attorney given to me. So he had to definitely have a membership.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about the different areas of the Legalshield? Like what else it covers?
Well, also, besides what I've talked about here, tax audit assistance. We're going into tax season. And so there could be lots of audits going on, especially right now with all the things we had to deal with the last couple of years. And so what we provide with you is a tax attorney who will go through that process of the audit with you to help guide you and prepare for that audit. And it covers last year's taxes. So it doesn't just start with this year, it covers you the year before that you enroll. So that is an awesome part of our service. If you get any type of letter in the mail from the IRS, even if you don't know what it is, we advise you to pick up the phone and call your law firm, get your tax attorney to help you with their questions to decipher what you should do in case you get a letter from IRS. And then we have, I'm sorry, were you going to ask a question?
Well, no, I was going to say, so that covers, I know you mentioned just for the last year, but does it cover multiple years, or is just the way y'all have it set up, it just covers just 1 year, or depend on the membership?
Awesome question. Well, our membership is month to month. Okay. And so as long as you have the membership, you have the service. It's not a 2-year contract. It's nothing like that. It's month to month. So when you pay your monthly amount, you're covered and you continue to be covered. Even if something happened, say for instance, you had to miss a month because of something that may have happened, or you could have forgotten. A lot of times we have our cards, because this is a draft. And so our cards can expire. Our company still does not just automatically cancel you. You go into a holding pattern where they're trying to reach out to you. And even myself, I am a representative, so I always make sure I reach out to my members to make sure if they truly want to cancel, or is there a reason? A lot of times what I've just found is like so many, it's because your credit card canceled and you forget that one little bill that you might have, right? And forget to call and get that information straight. So once they know that, they're ready to, get that taken care of. So no, you're not canceled immediately. We understand how these situations can happen. So you still have your coverage. So, but it's month to month to month. And I could say, we're 50 years old this year, and we've had members on the books for that long.
Now, I have a question
Wow.
for you. Now, if you have the Legalshield for personal, and then you're doing your will or your estate planning and all, and you have a small business or home-based business, can you put that home-based business in your will, or do you have to have the business supplement in order to be able to navigate like that?
Thank you for asking that question, because yes, you do. So this is the plan I'm talking about right now. It's the personal. So it handles all your personal. So if anything that you tap into as far as your business, you're going to have a business plan or the home-based business supplement. And if you have the supplement, now you can prepare your will that's going to protect your business, because the small business plan and the home business supplement, it looks out for the business entity. So all of your questions or your concerns, if you need an attorney, it's one that specializes in business law, of contracts that you need to have reviewed. It's business, it's regarding your business, even taxes. If you're being audited, your business, it will fall into the small business. So if you don't have that and you have a business, the attorneys can't address it. So you have to have the business plans so they can address your business issues.
It can't even be left in your estate, like to your family, to your children, without you having the business plan portion of it?
That's a question that I would definitely ask the attorney, because that is a part of, like, you may have a different outside policies, right? That you have, like life insurance and that type of thing. Though that's a policy that's outside of the will, but it's included in, it's noted in the will. So you would be a business owner who would say, well, I have a business and I want to make note of it in my will.
Okay. Eric, you have a question?
Yeah, so I was going to ask, so what sort of thing would be out of the purview of Legalshield as far as protection goes?
Well, we cover everything. Okay. Now, the question that maybe the best way I can answer this is that 80 to 90% of what I'm talking about now is covered under the membership, which is, like I say, it's $29.95, okay, a month. But if you have something, for instance, it's a criminal case, okay, or it's a bankruptcy, a contested divorce, those type of areas, or pre-existing, something that's active before you signed up for the membership, those things you can access and get assistance from your law firm, but it's at a 25% discount. So that's the difference. It would be at a 25% discount. You won't pay the full cost of that legal. We even cover uncontested divorce, adoption, and name change, uncontested, after 90 days of having the service, and that's covered under the full plan. But if it's a contested divorce, it's going to be at a 25% discount.
Okay. So at what age do you think people should start looking into becoming members at Legalshield? Should they, when they start going off to college, or
Absolutely.
should they just, wait until they get older, or about what age you think?
Well, absolutely, 18, okay, and definitely if you're away in college, and the parents can take care of them this way, because our plan covers you, your spouse, or significant other, your children up to the age, at age 26 is cut off, so up to age 25, okay? It covers them. If they're away in college, full-time college students, they're covered, all right? Any children that you are legal guardian of, they're covered. And then any mentally or physically disabled children are also covered under this plan, under that one cost. Everyone is covered. That's why we say it's a family plan. So if you have a college student, you definitely want to cover them, because things can happen off campus. And I talked about the app that you can download and get immediate access. You can give that ability to your child because they're included in the plan. They can have that app right on their phone. And so they can also utilize that plan. They can way in college and they have a situation. Say, for instance, I didn't talk about this yet. What about traffic tickets? And we know if we get a traffic ticket, our insurance will go up, and especially if we have a child driving on our insurance, what would happen in that case? Well, we have attorneys that go to traffic court for us and our minor children, to help to be able to fight those points that may get on your license. So they're very skilled at that, getting the points reduced and getting the fine reduced, and then thus keeping your insurance rate at a decent cost for you. So, that's another thing. That's why we say, your younger children, of course, you want them to have that protection too, and help them to understand how to utilize it. Because of course, their tendency is always to call you first, right? And I have a situation where definitely called dad first, but dad came to the scene and called the law firm. And then he got his attorney, the 24-hour emergency attorney on, that spoke to the officer in this case, did, and the son was released. He had an accident at 2 a.m. on a rainy road, and the police officer had him, questioning him in the car. So, that type of thing, you just want to be able to have a peace of mind, knowing that you have a service for your family that you can access in all types of legalities that may happen, because a lot of times we just will not pick up the phone and call a law firm or an attorney because we're concerned about the cost. And that's what the purpose of our service is, to give you access, to give you that peace of mind, to level the playing field so that you can be able to have an attorney. All our attorneys are well experienced, like 22 years or more experience in the law. The law firms are very, very valued law firms that are very powerful, have been around for years, and they become part of our system of attorneys all over the country that are giving you access. So wherever you're at, you can have access to an entire law firm.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, oh, okay. I did speak on the fact that we covered uncontested divorce. I did speak on that, and and traffic matters. So I did, and one thing I wanted to add with traffic matters. So if there's also driver's license assistance that's needed, that's a part of what you can get some assistance with, or property damage collection. If there's an accident, you need, property damage, and you're trying to collect, they assist you with those too. So there's other parts that you can use anytime there's a situation with your vehicle. You definitely want to just pick up the phone. I always just advise, pick up the phone and call. The attorneys will tell you whether or not it is something that they can help you with, that is covered, and they will help you with, and what they can do for you, because they're very skilled. My husband and I have used this service over 180 times. I don't judge, because, but what it is because we've been given access, and we will pick up the phone when we have some concerns, when we have a contract reviewed, or we needed a letter written on our behalf. That's why we started this business in the first place, because we utilized the service and got such phenomenal results. We could not believe it, and we're like, okay, we have to be able to share this with others. And that's why we became associates in representing the company, because of the fact we use it. We're not just someone who has the plan and never used it, but we're out here trying to talk about it. We've used it. And so we know that, it can help. We get reviews from all of our members, and we look for that. We want to know. We want to know if you're using the plan and how you're using, was the results good? Because if they weren't, we have access to a department that will review if there's a problem. Okay. So
I have a question for you about the family plan. Now, when you have the family plan and you have your children who are off at college or something, and maybe they got pulled over by the police and all, will the attorney be allowed to speak with that child if their child is like 17 or 18 years old without the permission of the parent, or do they have to have the permission of a parent first before they can speak with the child about a situation?
Now they're going to ask that question, and they generally want the parent. They're a minor. They definitely want to. That's legal. They want to have the permission of the parent. Okay. And so this is how, say for instance, you have a 17-year-old and a situation happens and they need to access the law firm. They will call you and say, well, mom, dad, I have a problem, something, I've been pulled over, whatever the situation is. And then you and that child can get on the phone together and call the law firm.
Okay. Because I know in some states, well, state of Georgia, 17, you're considered an adult. So, and some children or teenagers graduate from high school at 17. So if they're on their parents' membership and they get pulled over, it's like, okay, why do I need to call my mom? I'm a member too. So I'm just going to go ahead and talk to the police myself and then call the attorney and all. So the attorney still can talk to that child, being that they're 17 in the state of Georgia, they're considered an adult. They don't have
they know the law in the state of Georgia. Okay. And if it's legal to talk with them, they will.
Mm. Even if they're under the family plan and it's not their own personal plan?
Yeah, even if they're under the family plan, because it's considered like their personal plan. Because it's just that it's a family plan, just like, say, for instance, your husband, it's a family plan. So it doesn't matter whoever that member is, they have access. They can have that same access to be able to call.
So, and within that plan, they can still have that attorney-client privilege without.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
I know I want to ask a question about one of the plans. I think the latter plan that you mentioned regarding the guns. We just recently have a government official lobbying for legislation to allow basically everyone to carry a gun without a permit. One, do you see your services really skyrocketing in terms of that? But then two, just how does that plan come into play?
Well, absolutely. I do foresee it skyrocketing. And it's really word of mouth that we can help those individuals who are carrying understand that there's a plan here that can protect you. Because if you pull your weapon, it becomes a legal situation. And you want the advice from the attorney. You want to know what to do. If you have to discharge it, there's another, okay? And so the attorneys will guide you, represent you in situations where you've had to use it. What if it's a concealed weapon, and you walk into a place and you have that weapon on you? They're saying they do not want, no guns allowed, right? And you're in a situation, you're like, oh, I forgot. You think that could be a legal matter?
It could be.
And that's where you want to be able to call. You call your law firm. So I think what it does, it helps you protect you, because if we're going to be carrying, we want to know the law, because we don't want to be caught in that kind of situation and not have legal representation. And this gives you that, because it's a very nominal fee. This gun supplement is only $14.95 a month, in addition to a legal plan. And that's an incredible, discount to be able to have a service like that, which you can have access even in case of an emergency regarding carrying your weapon. So, there's many scenarios that could pertain to you actually having to pull out your weapon.
Okay.
So, and along those lines, and not just maybe in that area, but also, do you offer classes or tutorials so that people can become knowledgeable, not necessarily as a part of the membership, and not necessarily needing to speak to a representative or an attorney, but just to be more cognizant of what they can and can't do, what their legal limitations are? Do y'all offer, or does Legalshield offer those types of classes online and things of that nature?
We don't have a class online, but we do have where you can access the information and you can read. It gives you a layout of how your coverage works. Anybody who has that has access. Even on your app, there's an area that you can tap into that it'll break down the services. But what I recommend with that, because you can pick up the phone anytime you need and get additional clarity. And because you want to know exactly in your situation how this plan would help protect you. And that is something that we're very proud of, because the attorneys will take that time to make sure you understand, and not on the clock and you have worried about a cost, that you understand how that plan will work for you in situations that you have. But as far as a course, no.
And when someone calls, are they pretty much assured they're going to talk to an attorney, or they're going to talk to a paralegal or a legal secretary? Just how will that go?
Well, I can answer that.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
I'm a Legalshield customer, and I've called, and they'll call you right back. And the attorney, I mean, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, they will call you back, and they are the attorneys calling, and they ask you what your problem is, and you talk to them about it, and they tell you, what to do, give you advice on, and they're real quick. They're quick about it, because I've called Sheila many times. I'm like, the attorney already called me. They already called me, and I called about the will, and they called me, and they're sending you emails. I mean, they're on top of it. They're really good. So they call, right away. And it's an attorney that you're talking to.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Because you do get an attorney. When you first call into the law firm, there will be a representative that answers the phone that's going to ask for the nature. They're going to ask for, they need a quick scenario of what your need is. Why do they ask that? Because remember, you're accessing an entire law firm. They don't want to put you with an attorney that doesn't specialize in the area that you have the need. So that's why they ask the question. And then that attorney will call you back, just like Ms. Jackson said, within 4 hours. Okay. And they would go after hours, depending on what time you have called. And you can even do it this way, because a lot of times we found that people maybe couldn't receive that call back from the attorney. Maybe they're at work or something like that. Well, you can actually open up your app and ask for a consult. You can request a consultation with them, and the attorneys will text you back and forth and find the time that's good for you and let you know that they'll be calling at this time, and the number may be a 800 number, for instance, something like that. So you can have clarity about whether or not you should answer that phone. So I think that's a really good solution for this, because they want to make sure they're there for you. That's their role. They can't push you to the side and not answer you or not address your situation. That's just not allowed in this service.
Now, I wanted to ask about can you pick and choose who your attorney is going to be, what law firm you have, or are there certain law firms for certain areas?
Yeah, you have a hub law firm, I like to call it, in every state. You have a hub law firm. Now, if you stay, say for instance, away from the hub law firm, there's smaller firms that they can give you access to, for instance, if you need to drive to them. So we do have, like a better word, satellite law firms too, that are maybe closer to you. But all of these attorneys have been trained and skilled. They have to go through a training to be a Legalshield attorney. They have to go through a certain training where they understand the responsibility that they have, because they have to address your situation. They have to, when you call, they have to return your call, because I have had the experience where I didn't have an attorney call me back for days, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I had an emergency, I had a situation I need to be addressed right away, and yet you're going to call me 5 days later. No, that's unacceptable. In our case, these attorneys are commissioned to address you right away. So that's another thing that I feel is really, really passionate about, is because a lot of times we don't utilize an attorney because we don't want to be put in that situation. We assume, but Legalshield attorneys are not.
Okay, good. Now, as far as the supplements with the original memberships, if you get more than one, do you get like a discount for each additional one, or are they all the same, $14.95?
Yeah, the supplements, each of the supplements are $14.95.
Okay, so if you get more than one on your plan, it's still $14.95?
It's $14.95, yes.
Okay.
So, like for instance, we have the home-based business supplement in addition to your small business plan. We have 3 levels of business plans. And it's according to the needs of the business owner. And we know most smart business owners already may have an attorney, but a lot of times they need to access and may not pay as much. And our plan works hand in hand with that, because a lot of the small business owners say, well, you know what, I'll just call my legal shield attorney to be able to handle this particular situation, because we can provide that advice and consultation at no additional cost, letters and phone calls, the same thing made on your behalf, document review and contracts that, business owners, collection letters for business owners, we do that. Also, designated consultation, specific legal advice, and all those things, even employee handbooks for the larger companies, IRS audit services, also for your business. So there's a lot of coverage there that they can access by paying a small monthly fee. And so a lot of times our business owners have that in addition to the attorney that they may be, used to, and who may have been working with them for years. But a lot of times with the home-based business supplement, we don't have that. We don't have that. And so now you're empowered to be able to have access.
Okay. Now with the ID theft going on a lot, let's talk a little bit about ID Shield.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about our identity theft product. It's called ID Shield. And right now we're in a troubled time where so many people are being victimized with identity theft, and business owners too. So it's so important to be able to have identity theft protection around your family, your personal, and your business if you're a business owner. Now, our plan, ID Shield, there's many plans out there. You'll hear about all these different plans, but I want to assure you that our ID Shield plan is ranked #1 by Forbes in 2021. We've been around longer than any of these plans that are out here. And many people become victims every day, and they don't know what to do or where to turn. And once you become a victim, 9 times out of 10, you're going to become a victim again. So, and it's not just about credit. So we try to help people understand it's not just about credit, it's about so much more. And so what our product does, it gives you that and much more. So you're going to have that monitoring service, but you need that monitoring. You need to be monitored 24/7. And so we provide you that. We also have an app, again, for our ID Shield product. And that app will show you, first of all, your credit score. So you can see what your credit score is, and kind of it's live, so it will fluctuate. And if it fluctuates something terrible, you're like, okay, what's going on? You'll get alerts anytime someone I don't care if it's you or any other provider, someone who's going to try to provide you service, or a criminal that's tapping into your information, it's going to alert you, your ID Shield. Okay, and then it also monitors the credit bureaus. Okay, so anything comes up there, or your social security number. Okay, not just your credit, so your social security number, your passport, your driver's license, your email, phones, your date of birth, all of that. Medical is a huge problem right now. There's so many people that are being victimized by medical identity theft. So it's monitoring that also. Your passwords, your username, your passwords, the dark web. Because did you know that our information is being traded on the dark web for pennies on the dollar? Okay, someone can access and go on the dark web and buy your information. So you want a protection against that. And this last one, social media, is so huge because if these want your personal information, they want to access your social media, and they can do a lot of damage on social media if they put something on that social media that can harm you, because we know a lot of companies access that social media just to even look up for someone's information even if they're applying for a job. So you got to be careful with that. So it's going to give you all of these monitoring features, which are huge, and that is what you want. It gives you a peace of mind. But what if you become a victim of identity theft? It's a protection, but it can't necessarily say stop someone who is. What it's going to alert you right away, and now it's going to go to bat to be able to restore you. So what happens is you have licensed private investigators who actually go to bat for you should you become a victim of identity theft. And we have a $1 million identity fraud protection plan that goes along with. They do whatever it takes, forever, how long it takes to restore you back to your pre-theft status. And that is so huge because you don't have to do it on your own. I was a victim of identity theft where someone tried to use my social security number, my past job, and file unemployment. And unemployment fraud is huge right now. I was able to pick up the phone. I talked to a licensed private investigator. She shut everything down. She contacted the credit bureaus, put fraud alerts on all of them. All I had to do was go to the police department, file that police report, and I was able to have a peace of mind because I did all that and knew that she had my back on everything, because I was able to pick up the phone and say, how's everything going? She would tell me, you know what, you're fine, don't worry. We are monitoring you, and we've checked the dark web and all of that for you. So that is that peace of mind you get when you have a product that's going to do everything for you. Now, there's another piece about product. I know I only have a couple of minutes, so I want to make sure I tap on this. Right now, we have the thieves that are trying to tap malware infections on everyone's devices. Okay, and if you're a business owner, you're even more at risk because they can hold your information for ransom. And there's nothing you can do when they hold your information for ransom. You either got to pay it or you lose everything. So you need a protection that's going to be able to prevent that from happening. So we have a Trend Micro maximum security, Trend Micro. And a lot of people outside of Legalshield have heard of Trend Micro, but Trend Micro is highly effective at proactive protection against these malware infections. That these are always trying to access our information via spam email, text messages, all those things that because we know we're in this digital age, so they're always trying to access it. So Trend Micro will alert you to any type of foreign, some type or email that is not a safe email. They will alert you. They alert you for text messages. If you get a text message where the scammer is trying to get you hold to your information, they're trying to tell you to click on this link here, you get a big red alert that's going to tell you stop. Okay, do not access. Okay, that is what we need to be able to know when the thief is trying to access our information. So we can, if you're online and you get a suspicious email, again, you get that alert that's going to be able to help you to know whether or not this email is safe or not. They also have VPN proxy 1. So for instance, if you're somewhere outside your home and you're accessing the Wi-Fi system, like say for instance, you're at a coffee shop, a restaurant, a school, or office, things like that, now you're at risk, right? Have you ever heard of that? Your system may not be safe because you're using this unprotected Wi-Fi system. Well, our VPN proxy 1 helps protect you in that case too. Okay, so it puts like a shield up that's going to prevent the thieves from coming in to get your information. So now you have that block for that malicious fraud that's going on out there. And so we're very excited about that part because it's all included in our identity theft plan now. And it is a seriously asset to our identity theft product. And then we have password manager. So, a lot of times everybody's telling you, change your password, change your passwords. And of course we change the password, we can't remember the password, or, we use that same password that we should not be using. Well, you have password manager now, who that also will encrypt your passwords for you, put them in a safe place. So when you now go onto these sites where they're asking for this information, that Trend Micro, that password manager takes over and they allow you to come in. Now, I've done this where I've made purchases online, and those purchases online, Trend Micro put me into a safe environment. I was able to access and go ahead and make my purchases knowing that no one could come in and take my information. So that's why. And then we have credit counseling and education, which is a new part of our service too. So if you have both our services, legal and ID Shield, you get credit counseling and education. And so, a lot of times we get service from these outside places. Well, now you can get them, it's included in your plan. So you can get the advice on your finances and how to develop a healthy credit. So say, for instance, you're trying to really get your credit together, you can get this advice right here with our services. And then if you have something on your credit, say for instance, it's an error, or if it's something that you just don't understand, what is this? Why is this on my credit report? You can have the law firm write those letters, okay, to the credit bureaus on your behalf to have those things removed. And that is so huge, okay, to be able to access them for that. And that's all included. This is no additional cost. It's all included in the membership. And the same thing for protecting your business. We have a plan for the business owners to protect them against that ransomware, where they will have access to be able to have their information scanned. There is scanned where you can see if there's any leakage, anything that, you know, will have the open gap where the thieves can come in, and how to shut it down and how to take care of that. So how many know how, you know, so many companies have needed that because they've become a victim of ransomware? Well, that's why, because there's a little gap there that the thieves are able to get in. So, you know, that's what we provide with our identity theft plan. And then again, we have a family plan. It covers you, your spouse, a significant other, and your children up to the age of 18. Okay. And
thank you so very much.
okay, there you go. All right.
Thank you so very much for all the information. I know we could go on and on and on about Legalshield, but we so much appreciate being here. But next week, we're going to be having our coronavirus update with Dr. Kate Stevens and Edie Bartonelli out of Washington, D.C. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And remember, everything you heard and everything we said was our point of view. Get your Legalshield.